The Earl of March, a place for proper foodies, sensational seasonal menus and some ale and wine to boot. Let's go take a closer look. And Giles Thompson runs this fine establishment, sat next to me in a private room here out the back, Giles. This is a great space for parties of, I suppose, 10 to 12 people.
It works really well, yeah. Both as an al fresco dining room as it is today, with the doors thrown open to the gardens, looking out onto the South Downs. And in the winter, it's really cosy. We batten it all down, and it makes for a good shoot room. A good private party in the winter, lots of claret and warmth and and West Sussexy stuff. I
can see you've enjoyed lots of claret on the walls and local produce as well. You've got the Nye timbers represented here. You've got Tinwood as well, and we've got Harvey's in front of us here. There's a sense of local produce here.
That's what we pride ourselves on, and that's what we set out to do. We support all these local producers, particularly Nye timber, as you say, Tinwood. We really embrace what is going on in the local area. Our theme in the summer is seafood, as you'll get over Glorious, this coming Glorious. We'll be focusing on a lot of local crabs and lobsters from Selsey, which is just down the road on the south coast here.
It's fascinating because we are surrounded by countryside, and I suppose when you come to the countryside you don't necessarily think of fresh fish, but it's 20 minutes down the road.
20 minutes down the road, you've got some of the most sensational seafood and fresh fish anywhere along the channel. And then you here at the foot of the South Downs, looking over Goodwood, and we're surrounded by amazing produce, great fruit, great peppers from Tangmere down the road there. We've got some wonderful things to go at. In fact, a food journalist, when I first came down here, who embraced me, called Rosemary Moon, said, "Giles, welcome to West Sussex. We don't look at the views here, we eat the views." And I think that's just about what you do in every sense of produce.
Well, you were the right person to have that said to, because I mean, your background is very foodie, isn't it? You worked in London for a long time.
That's right. And when I came to West Sussex, I felt that with the Earl of March I could add a little bit of that London country plush, perhaps, in that sense, but really embrace local produce. So for me, coming out of the mainstream 5-star deluxe, the Ritz and the glitz of what I was doing at the Ritz Hotel, to come here and embrace local produce was for me very much a wake-up call and getting back to the coalface and really engaging with produce again.
What's the longer hours, in the kitchen or doing this?
I try and balance them between the two, but I reckon if I did a 16-hour day most days, that'd be about right.
That's pretty good going.
Well, you hear the Spitfire in the background?
Do you know, I was just going to say,
just taking off from Goodwood,
and that's all around us here, because you're so close to the racetrack. You're close to the Goodwood estate where they have the Festival of Speed. We're close to the airspace here where the Spitfire's just taken off. You've got Spitfires on the walls in pictures. You really represent the local area in the memorabilia on the walls as well.
That's what we try and do. It's all sort of happening here, but not just the horse racing. We also entertain the motorsport.
Do you see a big spike in the amount of people that come to the Earl of March itself over those periods? Are you quite consistent outside of those times, or is it all about those occasions?
We're pretty consistent, but yes, when those events are on, there's 4 or 5 times in the year where there's something really big happening at Goodwood. We really spark off it, and we do see a peak. And more so now, having been established here for 10 years at the Earl of March, we see people coming back year on year. So it's almost now a family gathering. So those guys that come in the evening after Goodwood, they could be a team of bookies, they could be horse racing people. They all know they're going to be here. And there's a great social element to it as well, with all those events. So it's like welcoming family back.
Do you get to go racing?
I get to go racing.
Good.
Yeah,
there you go.
Once lunch is over,
You're off to the track.
I nip up there between 3 and 5, and do my rounds and say my highs and take a drink here and there, and come back and get the Nye Timber and Tinwood on ice for when they get back here.
Yeah, and the Harveys, of course.
And the Harveys Sussex, of course, of course.
I do love Harveys.
It's a good pint, isn't it? That cracking.
It's so drinkable.